Hey ladies, so around my birthday, every single year, I love to sit down and reflect about the previous year. I like to think about the ups, the down, and all the lessons I've learned. So in this video, I wanted to share with y'all 27 lessons I've learned in the last 27 years. Let's go ahead and get started. Lesson number 1, you win or you learn. This one was a recent one that I learned just last year. As a lot of you know, I quit my job last year to pursue entrepreneurship, and then I had to go back into bartending. And so for a brief moment, I really thought I kind of failed myself. But then after a few months, I noticed that you never really fail, you just fail forward and you learn. And so that was a great takeaway for that season of my life. Although it was super rough during it, after it, I really got to see all the good things that happened and that came along with it. You win or you learn. Number 2, being your authentic self will attract people you want to be with. When you're your true self, you'll make real connection. I love this lesson because I had to learn that when I'm trying to be someone that I'm not because I want to please someone else, or I'm acting in a way that I think they're going to like, I'm never really making a true connection. So it's important that you stay true to yourself, that you are authentic, because that's when people really truly do like you. They like you for who you are, not for someone that you're pretending to be. And that's when you start making real connections. Number 3, we all have a dark side, a shadow. Observe it, work through it, and learn from it. I had to learn to accept the darkest parts of myself that even I didn't like. I tried to suppress it, tried to suppress my envy or suppress my anger. Instead of suppressing it, let's learn to accept it and work through it, because that's when all the magic happens, when we learn how to work through our flaws. Number 4, when overwhelmed, take a walk. When anxious, take a walk. When angry, take a walk. And when you need to brainstorm, take a walk. In general, just take walks. Walks are so important. And I know last year I used to take a walk an hour a day, every single day, and that was so healing. I remember going on walks and having tears down my face, crying of sadness. I also remember having tears of happiness because I was so grateful. No matter the emotion, I always went on a walk because I loved being in nature. And it also gave me a break from the computer, from the phone, from talking to people, and just being by myself. Super, super healing, and I recommend that everyone try it. Number 5, you'll regret what you say when you're speaking out of anger. Anger hangover is real. I remember the times that I used to rage out of anger and curse people out and just uncontrollably scream. And that's one of the flaws that I did not like about myself. And I had to learn to try to stay cool, calm, and collected. But when I get to that point, there wasn't a time that I never had not had an anger hangover. I always regretted it. And so I've learned to go on walks and have different ways of coping with my anger, or talking it out early on before it gets to a point where I'm just too angry to handle anything. Number 6, the best things in life happen naturally. Stop trying to force things. It's always awkward, it's always weird when you're trying to force a friendship, or you're trying to force something to happen. Everything is so much better when you let go and you just let it come to you naturally, because if it's meant to be, then it will be. Number 7, romanticize your life as much as possible. Take a swim in the pool or a swim during sunrise at the beach, host a watch party for your favorite show, play classical music while you cook, etc. This is a game changer and honestly has changed my life, because it's always about the little tiny moments. Any chance you get, try to make your life look like a movie, because honestly, it just changes everything and makes everything so much more fun. Number 8, your health over everything. Without it, nothing matters. Take your vitamins, exercise, sleep. It's all worth keeping track of. Now, because I am 27 now, and when I was 26, usually you get off your parents' insurance. And so it's kind of like the year where society kind of pushes you to grow up and do things on your own. You gotta go get your own insurance, gotta go to the dentist, gotta go to the doctors. You gotta really take care of yourself. And so this year, it was a big priority for me to take care of my health. So I went to the dentist for the first time, and I'm not even gonna say how long because it's embarrassing, but it was just amazing because I knew like everything that was wrong with my teeth, and I knew there was gonna be a lot wrong, but knowing what it was actually, what I had to get done, the payment plans, just made me feel like an adult. It just made me feel like, wow, I finally did this by myself. Going to the doctor, I'm going to the doctor very soon, and just talking about my health and why I feel fatigue or if I have vitamin deficiency. you don't feel good, if you're not doing well within, how can you grow your business? How can you be there for people and connect with people and be present when something in you is just off, like something health-wise is off? And so it's super important to take care of that. And so that's why I have that on the list. Number 9, take minimum 20 minutes a day to learn from someone else, whether that's a book, a podcast, a video, or a mentor. It's so important that we are students of life. We have to keep learning. It's just never enough. You could always learn something new. And it doesn't always have to be a personal development related topic. I mean, I started ordering National Geographic magazines just so I could learn about other things that aren't about growing your business or growing mentally. Like, I love that stuff, but I also wanted to incorporate just learning about the world in general and expanding my mind, reading new things and new topics. Number 10, the goal isn't to make money to get the freedom to do nothing. The goal is to get the freedom to do more of what you want. Do you know what that is? It's something worth thinking about. I know a lot of us want money because we want freedom, but once you do get that freedom, what are you going to be doing? You're going to be cooking more, you're going to be spending time with your family, you're going to be traveling, you're going to be learning new languages. What are you going to do? Make sure that you know exactly what it is that you want to do, because the freedom to do nothing is not really what we're looking for. We don't want to just sit on the couch all day. That's not what we're aiming for. We're aiming for a purposeful life. What does that look like to you? Number 11, and I love this one. It says, slow success builds character and fast success builds ego. I love this because it has taken me over 10 years to get monetized on YouTube, and that in itself has built so much character. It's built so much resilience. It's made me persistent, and it's built just so much discipline in me to just keep going year after year after year, getting no results. And so it's important, I think, that you do things slowly because you learn so much more from it. And just imagine how boring would it be if you got everything you wanted tomorrow. Like, the journey is always the fun part. Number 12, most of the suffering we do is in our head. Capture your thoughts and take audit. It's important that even if you're not someone who meditates, just take a minute to be aware of your thoughts and think about what you're thinking about. It's important to take audit, because if you're always constantly having negative thoughts, you're not going to be living a great life. And I noticed recently that I started complaining a lot, and so I had to literally shut up and think about my thoughts, take audit, and tell myself no, we're not going to complain. Instead, we're actually going to be grateful. And that has changed a lot already in my attitude at work, at home, and just because I live in my head, it's important that you're living in your head in a positive environment. Number 13, and this one kind of relates to the last one, but it says you'll always find what you're looking for. So for example, if you're always negative, you're always talking about how you never have money, how you'll always be in debt, then debt will always be there and you'll never get money, because that's all you think about. That's all you keep thinking about. You keep repeating it to yourself. When is it ever going to change? Everything always starts in the mind. And so it's important to capture your mind, your thoughts, and change that, because when you change your inner world, then your outer world reflects what's inside. Number 14, what the devil meant for evil, God will turn around for good. This one is very special to me because I've just been through so much where I thought I screwed up my future, or I screwed up relationships that I thought were meant to last forever. And then I really had to surrender and have faith in God and know that whatever the devil meant for evil, God will turn around for good. And that is such a powerful saying. And if you truly believe it, you will have so much peace, because you know that what is for you is for you. Number 15, if you're not in a good mood, go home. Don't spread it around. I know for me, my mood changes pretty quickly, especially around my period when I'm PMSing. And it just happens over and over again. And I finally learned that if I'm not in a good mood, I'm going to take my energy and my miserable self and go to my room, because what fun is it to be around someone who's miserable? And so I like to isolate myself when I get in those moods, and that is super helpful, because I hate just hearing people say oh, you look so mad yesterday, or you were sad, or why weren't you really talking? And it's okay, if I was just gonna be miserable, I might as well not be here because that's not the vibe people wanna be around. Number 16, people really do change. I know that's true because it's true of me. Constantly changing, growing, and learning. There are times where you can give people second chances because people really do change. If you can change, so can someone else. So it's always, you have to be kind of discerning of that. And like I said, never force anything, but remember that if you can change, so can other people. Number 17, you're enough. We get stuck in a hamster wheel on self-development, but sometimes you just need to stop and realize that you are enough. Maybe take a break from obsessing over podcasts and self-help books and watch something random like how they built the Great Wall of China. This is why I subscribe to Nat Geo magazine. So I just mentioned this and I totally forgot that I wrote this. I wrote this list a long time ago and I'm just now making the video. But like I said, and it's kind of contradicting because I mentioned like you want to do like 20 minutes of self-help and you always want to be growing. But also there's a line to it. There can be an obsession where you're taking it way too far. And there's been multiple times where I've done that. I've taken it way too far and then my entire world is just about me. And so it's important that you volunteer, you serve, you try to help other people and not be stuck in your own world. There's countless times where it's been all about me and it's just brought me into a rabbit hole of self-development and it just made me so selfish. But it's important that you learn about other things in the world, that you ask questions about someone else, you see what other people are up to, how can you help? And a great way of doing this is also just volunteering. Number 18, self-love is the greatest love you'll have. It's the foundation to a happy life. When you love yourself, your life truly changes. I think everything stems from self-love. When you love yourself, you change your standards. When you love yourself, you pick a partner that you feel worthy of being in your life. When you love yourself, you pick a job that meets your expectations and standards. When you love yourself, you stop taking disrespect. When you love yourself, you have boundaries. Everything comes from self-love. Like, you can tell how much someone loves themselves or their life by the way they treat themselves, by the partners that they choose, by the way they live their life. Because when you truly love yourself, you give yourself the greatest things and you don't accept less. Number 19, get a hobby that you never plan on monetizing. Enjoy something that has nothing to do with making money. For me, it's dance. I want to take classes and maybe perform, but most definitely not to make an income from it. It's just pure enjoyment. I put on my 2024 goal list that I wanted to go back to dancing and take dance classes because I truly feel like when I'm dancing, I'm just having the most fun. And I do not want to monetize it. I don't want to go on tour. I don't want to like go on Broadway. Like nothing about it makes me want to make it a business, wants me to make dance videos. Like, I purely want to do it out of pure enjoyment and love. I think it's so important that we have something because today, like, everything we do, I feel like we're trying to monetize. Like, if you're trying to do YouTube videos because you're trying to make money. If someone starts guitar lessons, like, you're not gonna go ask them like, when do you plan on going on tour? Like, when's your first like concert? Like, can people just do things because they want to? Like, can we normalize that? Number 20, do what you have to do what you want to do. This is a big one because sometimes we have to suck it up and do the things we don't want to do because in the future we'll then be able to do what we want to do. And that talks, and this is mostly about entrepreneurship. There's just so many things you don't really want to do, but you got to do. You got to do what you got to do. Sometimes you got to work the 9 to 5. Sometimes you have to work 2 to 3 jobs for now. I mean, you really have to work hard for the things that you want, and sometimes in the beginning, it's just not looking pretty. Number 21, it's usually not what you say, but how you say it. This one is an important lesson because I think we need to learn how to speak to people kindly, and it's not about what we're saying most of the time because sometimes people don't remember what you say, but they'll always remember how you feel. And 22, don't beat yourself up so much. Most times you acted the best you could with the information you had. And so this also kind of relates to the last one where you sometimes just got to give grace to people. People are acting the best that they can most of the time with the information they had. You never know what someone is going through. And sometimes, yes, you need to keep your distance, but it's true for you as well. Like for myself, like sometimes I have to even forgive myself for acting a certain way, because at that time, that's probably the best that I could have acted and the best I could have done. Since I'm always growing and changing, I really do give myself grace, because we're all just like trying to do our best here. Most of us. Number 23. You have to take care of yourself first before trying to help other people. Like they say on the airplane, make sure you're putting your mask on first before you help other people. And so this is something that might seem selfish to a lot of people, but if you can't give financially to someone, that's okay, because you can't even give to yourself. Like I will not give to someone if I'm not okay. Like if I can't even have groceries to eat for the week, I literally can't give to someone else. And so it's important that you take care of yourself first. Important that we all take care of ourselves first, so then later we could give more and help others when we can. Number 24. Nature, laughter, kindness, love, and self-compassion. The best and most beautiful things in life are imperfect and free. The question I always ponder is, why do we spend so much of our time, energy, and money seeking temporary pleasure in monetary material when we can find eternal meaning and beauty that exists all around us? So it's important as well to remind ourselves that sometimes going for a swim, going for a walk, being with our mom, just like small little things in life, the best things in life are free. And we can do these every single day. Number 25, failure and adversity are the greatest teachers. There's a reason we can only see the light of the stars in the darkest of times. That one's a good one. That one's a good one. And it's pretty straightforward. So 26, the journey is the fun part. We always rush for the destination, but when we get there, then we're like, what now? That's why a lot of Olympians always get depression after. They work so hard, and then after they're done, they're like, okay, now what do I do? Enjoy the process, wake up every day, and be excited to accept a new challenge. Be excited to take it day by day. Like get excited to build something slowly. Last but not least, number 27, let go, let God, and learn to surrender. When I truly surrender, the peace that I feel is just so powerful and so amazing. Because when I try to control everything, I mean, the stress that I get is so overwhelming. So I'm gonna leave off with one of my favorite verses, and it says, when the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen. And that's one of my favorite verses because it just truly makes me surrender. When the time is right, everything will happen. And so you can surrender, you can let go and trust that the timing is perfect and everything is just the way it's supposed to be.